Hi, I'm Neff, and welcome to Fun with Nefertari, where I will be showing gaming videos from games that I play and just talking about them, perhaps giving a little bit of a woman's point of view. My first one that I'm going to be doing is Path of Exile, which is a free-to-play game which you can get either from their website or from Steam. It's an ARPG, which is a game along the lines of Diablo, if you don't know what ARPG is, action role-playing game. Although it's frankly much better than Diablo 3, but sort of I guess a spiritual successor to Diablo 2, which I think everyone can agree was a much better game. I'll be focusing mostly on my current character, which is a witch called Red Nefertari, and I have a Firestorm build for her right at the moment in the newest league, which is the Legacy League, which is actually really cool. It's pretty much all their past leagues, and you can get drops of league stones as you are playing, and you can use up to 3 of them at a time, and any maps you enter will have the characteristics of those past leagues for the league stones that you chose to use for it. So this right here are the mines in Act 4, Cruel Difficulty. At the moment, this game has 4 acts, and it has 3 difficulties. This is heading up to Duresso's Arena, which is coming near the end of the game. Grinding Gear Games, who are the small company, independent, who make the game, they currently have 4 acts and 3 difficulties, but they are coming out with an expansion this summer where they're adding 6 new acts. So this will be a 10-act game, and will only have 1 difficulty, so you don't have to play through it over and over again, which is very exciting. Anyway, this is still a cool game as in its current state, and right here I'm just fighting through. By the way, I want you to please excuse me for any mistakes made while I'm doing this. This is the first video I've ever made, and I just taught myself how to use the editing and sound software in the last couple days for videos, and I'm apparently not very good at editing, but I'm working on it, and things will get better in the future. Anyway, this is me fighting in leading up to the arena. This is actually an arena of sorts. But anyway, if you notice, I have a filter working for my loot, which is why different ones look different, different backgrounds and different colors and so on. And also it doesn't show as much loot as actually drops. I'm using something which will make things look bigger if it's better. Notice the green background for the league stones, things like that. It makes it a lot easier to pick up what is relevant to me. I am a bit of a loot hoarder, so even with this I tend to hoard a little bit. So I will show you later what my what my stash looks like. Anyway, going on, this is actually a hybrid build where I have minions and Firestorm. The minions are to hold the monsters in the Firestorm so that they aren't coming out at me while I'm casting it. They're pretty good. They last quite a bit. I have 5 zombies at a time, and I have a fire golem going as well. And the fire golem also gives me a bonus to my damage. You can see up in the top left, it says how many of my minions are alive at a given time, and if there's only one of a certain type, it'll also show its health bar like it does for the fire golem. This lets me know if I need to raise more. Here I'm trying to explore everything just to show you what it looks like. We have the option of putting the mini-map in the top right corner or having it on the screen, which makes it easier to see what's going on, which is what I like to do. When you put the map on the screen that you're playing on, then if you see in the top right corner there, it'll tell you more about, for example, what level the monsters are, a bunch of stuff like that. Underneath that, it also shows the quests that I have at the moment. For people new to this game, there's next to that health sphere, there are 5 flasks that I can use. I can use any 5 flasks that I want. It's best to use ones that are magic and have particular affixes and suffixes. I like to have at least one that will help cure bleeding if I get it, one that deals with burning if I get it, and if I can get one for it, I get one that will deal with poison as well. A lot of people like to do a Quicksilver flask, which will give you short-term speed when you need it. I can't remember at the moment whether I have one of those or whether I have one that does chaos resist. Notice there, I was just reporting someone who's spamming for selling some of the currency with real money. Reporting actually is pretty easy, which some of you women out there might actually find a relief, because in some games, if people find out that you are female, then they start to really bother you a lot. There is reporting for harassment, for hate speech, for a whole bunch of things. I usually don't bother reporting for anything except for the spam, because it just uses up so much of the chat window. It's very annoying. They keep doing it, especially at the beginning of New League. Generally, people won't even bother you if for some reason you say that you're a woman, because most of them don't believe it. This tends to be either it's very male-dominated, or other women are sitting back and letting everyone believe that, because whenever somebody says that, oh, I'm a girl, then everyone's like, well, I don't believe you. That's fine with me. It's actually good to sort of ignore chat, because it's a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking trash with people depending on what channel you're in. I would stay out of Global 1, because apparently that one has the worst reputation for all that stuff. A lot of guys talk about sex with other guys, which, well, whatever. There's a lot of interesting names that feature genitalia. Some people are really into that. It could be because it's so hard to find a name that hasn't been taken. Who knows? There I just leveled. You can see that I glowed yellow for a moment, and my health and my experience bar, the bar in the middle there, is reset. Okay. Forgive my ums. Oh, that last flask there, the blue one, is a mana flask. Oh, and that's the passive skill tree. It may look a little intimidating, but it's actually really cool. All of the classes use the same tree, they just start at different locations on it. So if you want, classes don't make that much of a difference. You can do this build as a Marauder, which is the warrior if you want. Or at least most of it. You only get so many skill points, and you have to make your way to that part of the tree. I will show it again in a moment here. Yes? See, I'm just... I work off of a build, usually, make it easier, because I'm not very good at my own builds. I've tried some, and they don't work out so well. Here I am, working my way to the main arena. If you notice, there was some green text in the box a moment ago. That is Durasso speaking and giving some backstory. The lore is actually kind of cool in this game. There isn't too much of it, but see, every NPC has voice acting, which is very cool. And you can talk with them and find out more and more from them if you want to. In fact, you can get achievements for talking to all the NPCs about all of their subjects. You can skip through the stuff if you want, but if you listen to it all, or at least read it, then it can give the game sort of a more rich feel to it and a darker feel. That's one of the things I like about this game. I like that it's a dark backstory. So we go through here. There will be things throughout the maps. Like here, there'll be little plaques, which will give you more of the story. Tell you about Durasso, who was, as a kid, he was thrown into the arena and he fought against beasts, and then everyone thought he was good enough to fight against people. And one day he was just about to be killed when he noticed some woman out in the arena, and he fell in love and turned the knife around and beat that big guy who was about to kill him. And from then on, he fought for love in the arena and asked the woman if she would marry him. And he fought with the ring of love on his finger. It was kind of cute, but unfortunately something happens later where, well, I won't spoil the story for you if you're into it. So it's sort of a shame to kill him, but it's apparently not really him. It's sort of a version of him, I think, in the theater. In the arena here, I'm a little vague on it. So you're not supposed to feel bad for killing him, even though he sort of fights for love, and he's not really a bad guy. Here's one of those plaques I was talking about, who gives you more of the story.
At age 13, carving knife in hand, I killed beasts for the amusement of the filthy. At 15, they thought me worthy to fight a fellow man.
I didn't mean to actually make it stop. I had scrolled through the text, but here I made it so that it still talks about it in the background while I fight. That's one of the things you can do with the plaques and the weathered stones and other things that are throughout the environment to tell you more about the lore.
Twice as big and twice as stupid as I butchered the butcher, and many like him. Earned my way, kill by kill, out of the awful pit and into the grand arena.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's kind of a shame that by the time he's 15, he was fighting people for, to kill them. But that's life there. It is right. I guess he's in Rayclassed, so it is Rayclassed. Now here's an example of me reporting. See, if it's so easy to do. You just right click on the person's name, you pull down what you're reporting for, you can write more about it if you need to, and then you just put it in. Also, you can right-click on their name and ignore them. Unfortunately, there's
Yes.
a limit to the ignore list, and it fills up. I have put in a question to the developers asking if they are willing to consider a longer ignore list, but they haven't done the answers to the list yet, so I don't
Go
know
where you are needed.
whether they're going to even take my question and whether they will consider that, because unfortunately I filled my ignore list with the spammers because it takes a little while for them to get to the tickets, so I'd ignore the person as well. And I don't have space now to ignore other people who just are annoying, but not annoying enough for me to ignore them, or they're crass in a way that I don't think is really fair to report for, but I don't want to see their stuff. Here's me going through my inventory, my stash. See, I only get the inventory on the right under my my gear there. On the left, I've bought premium stashes to make all those numbered stashes into something where I can change the color and the names, just so I can easily sort. And I've also bought a bunch of extra stash tabs.
Yes?
Once more with the red earth.
I've done that so that I can hoard a little more. Because if you only have 4, then there's only certain things you can keep.
Very good.
Yeah. There's a guild stash too, but then that's shared with everyone in your guild. I do put some of my uniques in there so that my guild can use them. I used to put a whole bunch of extra stuff in there, but it just packed it full. Me and my friend Beaker, we used to just put bunches of stuff in there. Here in the stash, see there's special stash tabs you can get too. Here's for essences. So here's for currency. See, currency, they have all these different types. I'll explain about currency now. You don't use gold. You use different things that can be used in crafting. And it's sort of a barter system when you want to trade, which I really like. You can use the currency, or you can buy things with it. And the best way to buy things is poe.trade, where it usually chaos orbs are the standard
What do
in
you wish
trading,
to know?
and exalted orbs. I've never got the exalted orb, but I've gotten plenty of chaos orbs. There's lesser orbs that you can trade for as well if they're not worth it. And you just, if you want to buy certain things, you can sell things too. Here I'm showing the microtransaction store. Here's if you want to support the game without buying something particular. See, there's different levels of support that you can get for up to hundreds of dollars US, and as little as I think like $40 US. See, I'm mousing over and it'll tell you what you'll get along with supporting, so you actually get a lot out of it as well. And you get a title on the forums you decide to post. Here I am fighting the boss, Duresso. He's a unique boss, which is shown by the orange of his name. Orange is unique in this game. White is normal, blue is magic, and yellow is rare. He's also putting out all these knives in addition to sometimes charging me, fighting me, and putting up those copies of himself in a circle, which then explode. If you see, he's already killed off my zombies, but I can resummon my golem a lot easier than my zombies, so I have that up sometimes. When I think of it, I'll be putting up a portal, because if you're doing poorly in the fights or need to refill your flasks, you can jump through the portal to the town. Going to the town will automatically refill all your flasks.
When I'm ready, I'm not.
And your health. And you can come back all renewed again. I think I did die once in this, though, when I was stopped paying attention for a moment, which was stupid of me. But I killed him right away after, so... The problem with dying is if you look at my experience bar, see there's 4 different, there's 4 little bars that are full right now. When I end up killing him, you'll see that there's 3, because in cruel difficulty, every time you die, you lose 5% of your current health. See, there I die. Resurrecting right near there. I'm gonna run off and res some zombies first, because even though they'll die, they will stay up for a little while and keep the attention not so much on me, which is what I want. So in cruel difficulty, I'll lose 5% of my health for every time I die. In merciless, I'll lose 10%, which is 2 of those bars every time I die. So while you can die in softcore, you don't want to. Even though, see, notice that the boss didn't gain any of his health back. So I got a quest item and a bunch of other things for killing him, which is awesome. And
Every effort shall be noted when the darkness falls.
I went to my hideout here. You can build hideouts, and you get to, there's different masters in the game, and each of them has a different hideout view that you can, a different hideouts location that you can do. I here decided to also do my daily quest with the person who'd given me my hideout, who I also had in my hideout. For doing a daily quest, I can get extra rep with her. As I get to higher rep, it's level 5 reputation with her. I can make a bigger hideout. Level 7, I think, is when I can make an even bigger hideout. So that's what I'm doing here. I make the hideout bigger, and that means I can invite more masters there. Having them there is kind of convenient. Makes it easier to do things. For example, I can buy decorations off them when they're in my hideouts. I can do daily quests with them when they're in my hideouts. Otherwise, I can build reputation with the masters, but I just have to wait for them randomly to show up in different maps, and I don't know who I'm going to get how often. With this master, she likes the dead, and she's an artist. She often sends me off to do things like
I need more mana.
Either finding corpses for her or bringing some corpses to one of her statues, which is what I do here, and then the corpses turn evil and I have to kill them, which I did successfully here. So she's saying, yay, here's more rep and here's some items. Go back to the hideout. So other ones I fight them, or I have to track down beasts and kill them. Things like that.
Together as artists, I look about us and find myself asking, is this place
there's also the biggest draw of hideouts for me is the crafting benches. Each master offers a crafting bench once you bring them to a particular reputation, and each crafting bench gets better as you get higher and higher reputation with them. There's ones where you can put an extra enchant on rings, on armor, on weapons. You can even put extra run speed on your boots if you don't already have run speed on them. As long as the items don't have too many affixes on them, then you're fine. But the best one, in my opinion, is the one where you can add a particular number of sockets to an item, add a particular number of links, and guarantee a certain number of a certain color Now you can do
You
this
wish
on
to
your
ask
own,
me
but it's
something?
random and you don't know how many of the currency you're going to go through to get it. Like the jeweler's orbs for getting the number of sockets. You don't know how many you're going to end up spending to get like four sockets, for example, on something. And this sort of puts... You may have ended up spending less if you'd done it yourself, but you probably would have ended up spending more. So it's very awesome. Now, the reason that you want these sockets on your items is that that's where you get your primary
You have a question.
active skills. You saw the passive skill tree. See, if on the right, there's all my items that I'm wearing, and they have different sockets, and they have different gems in them. The gems are what the skills come from. That's where I get Firestorm, for example, and then I have supportive gems that can modify the original one. So I can get one that does fire penetration, which will sort of ignore something's fire resistance to make more damage. There might be cast larger AoE or cast less mana. That's why the more linked sockets you have, the better. On armor and two-handed weapons, once they're high enough item level, you can get up to 6 sockets, and it's so hard to get them linked. It's usually much easier just to get 4 of them linked, but if you can get 6, then you can modify the gem. You modify your skill gem with things that'll just make you so much more powerful. Okay, here I'm buying decorations for the hideouts. And I'm going to buy a bunch, and then I'm going to edit so that I can place them in different places over the hideouts, just to decorate it. It's all cosmetic. And if you see like the circle, I can modify which direction it's facing. I can change where it is. I can change it to a different version. Like if it says that there's 4 versions of a tree, for example, I can switch between those. I can even move where the masters are. I can move where my stashes are. I can move almost just about everything here. And some people have some really incredible hideouts. You can get some other decorations in the microtransaction store. Everything in the microtransaction store is cosmetic. There is no pay to win in this game. You can get things like Malachi's hearts as a decoration. You can get pets running around your hideout. You can also buy pets that will follow you around the world. If you notice, I have a pet which is a bunch of hens that rise out of the ground, and I really enjoy that. The dark side of me enjoys something sort of like creepy like that. Here I am showing off how I can craft different things. Mousing over, if the name is yellow, then it's something I can do. If it's red, then I can't do, and if you mouse over, it'll tell you why you can't do that particular thing. It might be that you already have too many enchants on that, which is usually 6. It might be that just that you already have that particular one, like for boots you might already have run speed on it, and it won't let you put it again. It might be that it's the wrong type of item. It might be that it's unique. Unique ones you can't do anything to again, or it might be that it's corrupted. Corrupted means you can't do it. You can't do any changes to it as well. So this is me doing stuff. If you notice when it was quick when I moused over things, if there's sort of a gold change to an item as well, that's usually something I got from the microtransaction store. Like I put some skins on some of my stuff here, like the skull for the head and the legacy chest armor and feet armor. I also have special footprints on my boots. If when I go around, they're the breach footprints. They're sort of purple and flamey, and they're cool. And my weapon has a purple sparking thing, which I also got from the microtransaction store. So, yes, I've invested. Whenever I have spare money, I invest in this game because I probably have over 700 hours in this game. I love it. I think it's such a good game. I think a lot of grinding gear games and what they've done with what they have.
It's so good to have someone to
And
talk
I am willing to support them. I bought some supporter packs. I bought some items. Yeah.
to. Fortune.
Okay,
favor
back
you.
to the gems. I'm just here at the library where I'm showing where I can buy some of the gems. After you've done a particular quest, this guy will sell a whole bunch of the gems. See if they're circles, that means they're support gems. If they're sort of more ovals with edges to them, then that's a primary skill gem. There are different colors to match the sockets, red, blue, and green. Blue ones are mostly mana based, green ones are dexterity based, red ones are strength based, although they sometimes will have requirements of different things too. This is prophecies, where I can talk to this woman and she will do different prophecies that will come true in different areas. This is me going through the challenges of the league, and see at the top, if I do a certain number of them, I'll get different rewards. If I manage to finish 12 of them, I will get a new set of footprints that I can use. If I do 24 of them, I'll get another reward. I believe it's a different looking portal. Although I have the purple one right now, the normal one is blue. I also have an Arctic portal, which is really neat looking. So there's all these neat things you can get, and you'll see people love their cosmetics and making things look cool. And people are very willing to spend money on this game because they keep giving and doing things, and it's free to play. It really is free to play. If you can't afford anything, you really don't have to pay a thing. And yeah, it's more complex than a lot of other stuff. Okay, here I think I'm looking at a different character's tree. This is a cyclone tree. Yep, that's the ascendancy tree, that round circle there, where I get a few extra skills after I do a labyrinth, after doing ascendancy trials. I'm not going to really go into that right now, but it's a bunch of traps and an extra challenging thing to do to give you extra neat skills. Here I am going to another league's, my standard league hideout. See, this is one of the other ones you can get if you talk to a different master, if you have enough reputation, you want to build a hideout. I am almost near the end of this, so I'm just going to go through a couple more things. Here, I'm just showing off a little bit of a different kind of build. This is a Marauder, and his Cyclone build means that it's sort of one of those what people call spin to win type things, where while I have some other skills, like I have a leap slam skill, which I am going to show here. It's good for mobility. This is my Cyclone, and I just go through and kill things. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the beginning parts for the female characters, and it tells a little bit of their backstory, which I really enjoy and helps add to the atmosphere. There's really nice backstories for the male characters too, but given that I'm saying that there's a bit of a woman's point of view for this stuff, I'm saving some time by only showing some of them, so I'm going to be quiet here for a moment.
No life can be owned. Not a deer's, not a rabbit's, and not mine. Every creature has a birth-given right to live however it will, however it can. My right is to hunt, to feed off the wilderness in the understanding that one day the wilderness will feed off me. The fat lords of Oriath have no such understanding. They call me poacher and thief, clap me in irons and haul me like cargo into exile. No matter. I'll make the forests and mountains of Rayclast my new home. My freedom and my bow, that's all I need.
The youngest daughter of a respected family. Dresses, dances, suitors. A fortunate life for one fortunately born. My life. Had I not been different? Had I not thought more clearly, learned more quickly, dreamed more deeply and darkly than any child should? There seems to be no limit to what I can do. No walls containing my talents. To my parents, I was a raw nugget to be battered and molded into a prize for admiration, for envy, for sale. That life died on a wedding bed in Theopolis. Today, Rayclast offers me a new life, written not by birth, nor family, nor society. This life will be written to answer but one question. Who am I?
They were right to fear me. If only they had listened to their cowardice. Had they not taken my home with fire, I would not have taken their children. Now I'm banished to Rayclast. I've heard the dark rumors, seen the terror in the other exiles' eyes. But to me, one land is like any other. The elements are my allies, the dead are my servants, and fear will be my closest friend.
As you can see in here, these characters are strong and amazing. I love them. They are characters who come into exile and are creating a brand new life where they're in charge and they know that they're awesome. So I think it's a great game for finding some inspirational characters, and it's easy for you to take care of any problems where if anyone bothers you for any reason, which I would hope is not going to happen. And it is also a place where you can just play your stuff as hardcore as you want. You can play as hardcore, you can play as softcore, you can play in whatever league you want. You can do what you want. You can do PvP if you want. You can do PvE if you prefer. You can just grind for currency if you want. You can make your character look as pretty as you want or as badass as you want. It's very open to basically do what you want in an ARPG, and with a company that's great. They're supportive. They are always looking to what they can improve, and it's basically probably the best ARPG that I've played, and I've played quite a few of them. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this and that you can look past my newbiness in how to put this together. They will improve. And hopefully you'll try out Path of Exile if you haven't already, because it's fun stuff, great game, and a great company to support. thank you for coming and checking out my video. And this is Nap out. Bye.